So how I found myself to Magic, a game that's been out for I think over 30 years now, and only till recent year and a half that I start playing. The game I was more focused on playing before Magic was actually this. What you see here is Crusade. It actually, when I started playing it, a lot of my friends that knew a little bit of Magic told me it was like the Magic of Japanese TCGs, and I kind of got the gist of it, seeing kind of how the card layout for Magic cards. And this one, they have the numbers are definitely on the smaller end. It's not like Yugioh where you're in hundreds, thousands, or a lot of other games where in Vanguard you're in increments of thousands as well, 10,000. So I can see that aspect. But mainly how this game played is you had kind of like creatures, call them unit, and commands for like spells, like one time use sorcery or instant. So it was actually really fun. I played this for quite a few years. I actually only stopped playing because the company actually stopped making the cards because sales weren't too great. I think they had the game go on for quite a long time, like 10-15 years at least, I think. But I think another biggest thing is probably because all their series were all over the place. They weren't like Magic, how a lot of times you can use the different cards all together. You're not limited by creature types or what set they came from. For this game specifically, you see we got Yugioh stuff, and we got Magi, and we also got Idolmaster. You can't mix them. You have to keep within the series or the company, basically. There's one where it's Bones, so anything from Bones Studio you can put them together, like Eureka 7, Space Dandy, Full Metal Alchemist, Darker Than Black. You can put those together because they're from the same company or same code. But for JoJo stuff, you would have to put either with like the earlier stuff they released, the Jonathan and the Joseph, and then the more newer stuff with the Jotaro stuff. And Dio would be from this set, but those would all fit in the same one. You can have them in the same deck. So essentially there is more deck building limitations, but playstyle is quite nice because they focus a lot on combat and combat tricks, which I think a lot of Magic was about combat and combat tricks mainly, before a lot of the other different types of winning. A lot of the game focused more on that. And essentially for Crusade, the entire game itself kind of focused a lot on that aspect, where we have these characters which are kind of like equipments or auras that you equip onto robots, basically. And there's different ways to cheat things in, things that trigger when you engage in combat. For example, this one, when this enters combat and clashes with an opponent's unit. So basically when somebody decides to block this creature, when I'm attacking with it and somebody blocks it, it'll trigger, and then I can put -1/-1 counters on all of my opponent's creatures divided by the total amount of resource I have times 2. So there's kind of that. So you can kind of see what's coming and then plan how you want to block or attack, and then react accordingly. And then this equipment, basically when it's equipped, I can discard 2 cards to flicker this group, including the equipment, out, and then come back to trigger any ETB effects. And then it's quite direct and simple in that aspect. And what I really like about this game, aside from the simple, straightforward ways of interaction, is actually there's same as Yu-Gi-Oh! Or like in Magic, the stack, kind of like a chain link situation where you activate an ability, another person will stack that ability on. But it's a bit more like Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it will resolve once no one's adding anything onto the stack anymore. It will just resolve from the most recent one onwards. So that was quite fun. So catching the timing, when to do what, and when to kind of end the stack and then kind of resolve all the effect was quite fun and entertaining and interactive. And so for Magi, there's also different spells, draw spells, boss cards, and then boss cards have interesting effects and quite flavorful, like Morgiana, because a lot of the characters in the anime couldn't fly and deal with people that were in the air. Because of her super strength, she would kick them to them, and that's this card's ability. Should be able to kick, pay 1 resource and kick another creature or another new character into a battle area, and then have them engage in combat. And so it's kind of like a battle trick where you don't know who she's gonna kick onto where. So if they come in, there's 2 battle zones. She can kick right here, Alibaba usually, and then have them kick either maybe to the right battle zone, the left battle zone, and my opponents would have to come at me on the 2 battle zones and not know how I'm going to declare the block, because I can bypass that timing and kind of surprise my opponent with her ability. So there's a lot of battle tricks, and what I actually really like about this is the fact that there isn't that negation part. Actually, that's probably one of the biggest things I enjoyed most about Crusade compared to Magic, is the fact that counter spells don't exist even if you're playing blue. For the control, for example, you don't stop your opponent from doing their thing. Instead, you let everyone do their thing while you clash with each other, and you it's thing versus thing basically. You go full out, you battle with each other's abilities at full force, and you just kind of exchange moves like a sparring battle. And then it's cool because the stand is very, very flavorful too, where you would play like say a Star Platinum spell, and then when it resolves its ability, it will kind of equip onto like an aura, equip onto Jotaro, and then Jotaro will have an ability that synergizes with having Star Platinum out. So in that aspect, it's very flavorful. And like Magic, it's like as long as you can pay the resource, you can spam abilities. And some they have limitation where you tap and only once, or as things will say, basically, they'll actually let you know when you can use it unlimited times. There's actually a symbol for it. But if they don't say it, then it's kind of like it's a one-time use thing, or it's a tap, it's a one-time use thing. So there's that. So it's quite fun. And as the game progressed, I think they were trying to be more and more like Magic, because then when I started playing the game, it was just how I explained earlier. They didn't have how an EDH would, like a commander. It wouldn't start out with a commander. But then by the time nearing maybe a year and a half before the game kind of went under, it was when they just released their version of Commander, where you kind of start out with like a commander right from the get-go, and that kind of broke the game because due to the set limitation, some sets just got overpowered commanders, where the moment you start the game, your opponent would have lost already because their commander was kind of a stacks piece that would restrict the opponent's way to play. So that kind of, I think that decision kind of took them out. They took themselves out with that decision, kind of ruined the game by having, you can kind of, it's like having a stacks commander, a commander that comes out on turn 1 and is a stacks piece, and it's so stacking that essentially it's like if you have a graveyard stack, you can't target or have things enter from the grave. You just start with it, and then anyone that's playing a graveyard deck would not be able to play the game. And basically once they released that, maybe, I think it was like a year, maybe not even, they announced that they would be going down, and they wouldn't be making new cards basically. So that wasn't great, but that kind of, the itch to replay something similar kind of led me to Magic, actually, which I've known about since a long time ago, 30 years, like 20 years ago, because I started out with Yugioh. I played Yugioh for quite a long time, probably almost 10 years. And then I switched to Japanese card games. I played Weiss, I played Chaos, and Chaos is actually another one that is quite similar to Crusade and Magic, actually. I realized when I was playing it. So this is a quick example of what they are. So this is, we got Steins Gate, actually, this here. The Rukako, Kuris. This would be kind of like the commander situation, where in this game, I've mixed in, because this set, they allow you to mix with the other sets that come from the same company. And this one, this game is by Bushiroad, but Bushiroad also sealed their deal with this one. They stopped making cards for it. So this one is you have a creature, and then the stats are quite simple too. They're not too overboard. They keep it simple. And yeah, there's attacking and blocking. And then the battlefield is you have 5 creatures. You can only have up to 5 creatures here and there, and these are kind of like sorceries, instants, and sorceries. And then these are your commander, and they would be in your deck. So whenever you take damage, you actually flip through your deck, kind of like how Weiss is. And then when you hit a climax in Weiss, you would not take the damage of. Whenever you hit a climax, you would stop taking damage. This is kind of like similar, except you would take the damage. Let's say if you took 10 damage, you flip, you flip, and then on the maybe let's say you flip, and then by the time you hit your commander. So these would go. The commander would stop any extra damage you would need to take if you need to take 20, and then your commander would level up, and this is where the plus comes in. It'd be 4/4, 4 attack, 4 toughness, and then it would be +2/+2, so it should become a 6/6. And if she was tapped, she would become untapped. So it would kind of save you like a climax would, but essentially it wouldn't be as make it or break it situation in compared to Weiss, where it's a lot more direct and simple. So even if you rammed everything in with your Weiss characters, you can still win despite being in an absolute disadvantage just by simply playing a +2 soul climax and swinging your whole board in, and you can actually easily win like that. I have friends that won tournaments like that. I have won tournaments like that against top tier decks. So it's like it's a fun game. It's a chill fun game. So I'll just leave it at that. But Chaos was more. There's a lot more back and forth, where a lot more interaction when I attack. I have abilities, for example, I can tap to draw or tap to pump power. Abilities to untap, reuse abilities, synergistic pieces. When I do, maybe when this is on the field, my commander will gain +2/+2, or some other effects like that. And then essentially, I would have a board in that aspect, and then it would be more of a back and forth strategy game. But it's nice too, because ultimately you're not stopping your opponent from doing their thing either. You're kind of just exchanging blows, attacks, and how to guard and how to attack, and the battle tricks that come with. So that is what I really enjoyed. I played this for a long time, basically until they stopped printing it. Many years, almost 10 years, almost, maybe, yeah. And then again it went down, so basically it kind of just died down, stopped playing it. And then after Chaos, I stumbled onto Crusade. Where's that? The cards I just displayed, the Yugioh cards, the Magi cards. I played that, and it was fun. I played that for almost 10 years. I think a lot of the games, roughly maybe 5 to 10 years. So I played that for a long time. And then once they all went down, here I am with Magic. I mean, hearing that, it sounds like the next game to go down is Magic, but I highly doubt it. Magic is it's been around for a long time. They grow with the player. They're flexible, which is, I think, what keeps them alive. Just like how I stumbled on Commander. Really, it's a player's format, I hear. So it was kind of designed. They listen to the players and allow the players to grow with the game, and vice versa. So essentially, I think that's how you kind of survive as a card game. And here I am with Magic for a year and a half. It's been fun. I think the hardest part is probably getting enough people to play, because everyone's busy with the timing, and then ideally you would want 4 people. And then aside from that, I think probably the next challenge is matching power level, and talking about the kind of what everyone's expecting to a certain degree. Like, I play a lot of control decks, so these colors right here, the famous control colors. But I played with counter spells, and then I started to not like them as much, because they don't serve a purpose other than to stop your opponents from doing what they want to do. And of course, if they have an infinite combo, you want to stop them from doing that. But I think that could have been established right from the get-go before the game even started. Essentially, if one person is playing high-powered infinite combo type decks, and no one else is kind of playing it like that, it's up to the pod to decide whether we're cool with that, or I am going to run counter spells to try to stop you, or is that how we all want to play, basically. So the other games, they have a set speed, but unfortunately they're limited by the limitation of sets. Some sets are just actively have better cards than other sets, so that made it kind of hard sometimes, especially as the power kept increasing and they didn't print enough equally good cards for other sets. So it means like in Magic, if green can only be with green, you couldn't mix colors and mix sets from the past and stuff. You were very limited. You would have to wait for the set that you usually play to come out before you get any upgrades or anything. You would just look at other people's new upgraded cards because they can play it, but you can't because it's not in the set you usually, or in the series you usually play. But Magic does not like that. Magic has that freedom of pretty much all their cards are fair game other than the ban list in for Commander. So I've been enjoying that a lot and tinkering and trying to figure out that balance, and experiencing that enjoyment from card games that I had back then with the other ones, with the exchanging of battle tricks, combat, decision making, more back and forth, and more opportunities and time to do and enjoy that. So it's been going good. I think it's been going good. And then I think it just comes down to communication and talking about expectations and how you guys want to enjoy a game of Commanders. And that with that talk, it should help people, kind of work towards how they want to build their deck and enjoy a time with their friends playing this card game. So yeah, I'll be sharing some of my other decks. I like to be creative. I like to be a little hipster. I like to go to EDH Rec and find the least played commanders, and make a fun deck out of that. That's decent too. That's actually pretty good. So stay tuned for that. And that's kind of my journey from Yu-Gi-Oh all the way to EDH now.